Okay, it's recording now. So welcome everyone to Telepathic Communication with Animals free webinar. I'm so grateful you're here. And my name is Anel. I know few of you know me already. I am a telepathic communicator, EFT and Reiki therapist, and through collaboration with animals, I support others and inspire to come back to who they truly are, as well as one of my passions is also to support others who want to make difference for animals and voiceless in this world through beautiful projects that can shift the vibration into love. And today, just quickly summarizing, I'm going to share with you a little bit of my own story. How did I start telepathic communication? Some inspiring stories through telepathic communication with animals and my clients. And also, I will share with you like a basic structure of telepathic communication that you can use with your animals at home. And I'm sure I know a few of you, and I know that you have your beautiful animals at home. And so I'm really, really looking forward to see what you will receive today. And just to start, I will share a little bit my story. My telepathic communication came to me by the memory of telepathic communication, this type of language, it came to me when I watched a video on YouTube. The video is about the panther, and it's called Diablo, the spirit, and I think that's what it's called. And basically, it's a video where a very well-known telepathic communicator, she communicates with the panther, and it comes up that the Diablo, that was his name, didn't like his name and didn't like how people treat him. And after watching that video, I literally started crying, and that was first time I remember that telepathic communication is a real language that is not really fully remembered yet on our planet. And from that moment, I never really doubt that telepathic communication is not real. But I had my journey of practicing this muscle, because telepathic communication is a gift that we all have within us. It's nothing unusual, it's nothing special for someone, but we all have that gift within us. And it's a little bit like unused muscle that we don't remember we have it, so we don't really consciously use it. But when we choose to practice and focus more on this conscious communication with animals, then actually we start to practice the muscle, and within a time it gets stronger and stronger, and then we remember, and it comes more naturally. So what telepathic communication is? Telepathic communication is really an intuitive exchange where we send or we receive from animals information through images, through feelings, through inner knowing, and sometimes can be even through smell or through taste. So we really use our senses. And within telepathic communication, it's very important to remember that telepathic communication it's not a channeling, it's not energy reading. Although in some little moments that kind of naturally flows together, but it's very important to remember that when we telepathically communicate with animals, we actually communicate with living beings, with souls that have lots of wisdom and knowledge to share. They have their own intelligence, and they have the connection to source. So they're really, really divine beings, the same like us, who come here to support us on this journey. And for me personally, and for my clients, we still remembering the power animals have within our lives. And even I want to share with you, a few days ago, I went to horse farm in Portugal, and it's owned by a beautiful woman. Her name is Yuna, and she works with horses, but she keeps them wild. She keeps them wild, and it's such a beautiful healers. I went there. I connected with them, and it was just incredible. So much wisdom I received just by being with them, and the similar structure I will offer you today as well. And just by being with them, I really could sense their dynamic within the leadership, how they feel within each other. And it was a beautiful, beautiful experience. And that wisdom I'm taking with me, and I will be sharing on a YouTube channel once the video is already. But for now, I really want to introduce you to telepathic communication as also a style of living. Because the key components to telepathic communication is being in the present moment, being in the stillness, and really being in connection to Mother Earth, feeling being grounded in this moment now. And that basic structure really supports you to understand how animals feel and what they experience within themselves in a certain moment of their lives. Um, if you have any questions, meantime, feel free to ask me. I'm just checking here. And it's important to realize that when we communicate with animals, their value to life is as equal as our humans. And that's another part of the basic structure for communication with animals. Because it's a little bit like with people. When we approach someone for conversation, and we might think like, yes, this person is probably just, less than me. Let's say it's not equally valued like me. Then naturally this person will not be fully open for communication, will not really feel safe, um, will not be able to approach you with an open heart. And exactly the same way is with animals. When we come and approach them from pure heart and the awareness that they have enormous value in them, that there's no difference between the value of life, either you in the body of human or you in the body of animal, or in fact, even if you are a plant, then still there is a pure source, the pure essence of unconditional love within all of us. And that creates this equal value of life. And when we approach animals from that energy, then animals naturally feel safe and or happy to open and communicate with us. Another important part of the basic structure is to remember that animals have free will choice. So it's again like when we come to a stranger, we don't ask straight away like, oh, I just want to talk to you, and just start talking and just showering this person with lots of words and conversation. Usually we approach it with kind of checking first if the person is open to talk, if it's willing to talk, right? And with animals, it's very important to acknowledge that they have free will choice and that they actually might not really want to communicate with us sometimes. Although I must say it doesn't happen often because from my experience, animals are really willing to collaborate with us. But it does sometimes happen that animal is just busy, or maybe it's not well enough, or maybe he has different agenda. Once I remember I had a client, and she came with a behavior case with her dog. And when I approached the dog for communication, first what I heard, the dog said, "No, at the moment, no. You can come later, but not at this moment." So okay, I acknowledge that. And then I sent her email, and I just said, like, I try to communicate, but at the moment the dog said no, that I need to come back later. And then she answered to me. She said, like, "Now I know you're definitely connected with my dog, because that sounds exactly like my dog. He always have to do it his way." So sometimes animals might have their own agenda, might have their own personality. Throughout telepathic communication with animals, what I realize as well, that each animal has individual personality, individual purpose on this planet, the same like us people. Animals do feel also desires. They have certain qualities that make them feel more fulfilled. And in this way, it's a little bit similar like for us human. If we don't follow our path, if we don't open to who we really are, we feel suppressed, we might not feel fulfilled. And in some ways, it works very similar for animals as well. Sometimes maybe you even seen someone might have a dog who is super active, and that's what he feels, it's just active, he needs to express, likes to run, likes activity. But he has a guardian who is just very calm person, and likes to read books and doesn't want to do lots of activity. It's not very active person, because that's who the guardian is. So can you see how there will be the mismatch, where both they will not be really fully enjoying the time together. They might inspire each other to support, to open more, but it's not going to be happening with ease. So telepathic communication, it really gives us the opportunity to understand animals more, to understand what's happening within them. If there is a problem with behavior, there is a problem with the health, we can really open and ask animals what's really happening with them, what's happening behind the scene, why they're reacting in a certain way. And that's why I feel that telepathic communication is a key. It's a new way of living in collaboration with animals. And that's why I feel so strongly desire to share that gift and knowledge with others, and support others to remember that we all have that gift. That it's not something that is given just to few. But in fact, we have been having that, and we use this even unconsciously, even now. Perhaps you had a moment in your life where you thought about someone, and you were thinking to call that person, and you will just keep thinking about that, and in a few minutes, this person just called you and was like, "I was just thinking about you." How crazy is that, right? So we think it's a coincidence, but in fact, there was already telepathic communication happening in this moment. We just intuitively, when we focus, we send this information to that person, and very often in a human collaboration, the other person receives that telepathic communication, but it filters as its own ideas. So the person probably felt like, yeah, I was feeling to call you. I was thinking to call you, right? So that's how it happens. And very often happens in a similar way with animals at home. Because our animals communicate with us all the time. they send information to us, but we might not be aware of that if we're not aware of that gift, if we're not practicing that gift. And sometimes maybe you've heard or remember a moment where you were thinking about something, or you were thinking to take your dog for a walk, and you were just thinking about it. And suddenly you see your dog just gets excited and acts like already knows you're going with him for a walk, right? But you didn't show anything. You didn't take the leash. You were just thinking about it. So that's already telepathic communication was being in the process between you and your animal. So we all have that, but throughout a course that I'm offering, which starts on the 24th of April, we're going to dive deep into telepathic communication and learn how to really consciously master that gift, that muscle. And we will be practicing throughout that course, and you will be receiving feedback, because this is really, really important. Unfortunately, our mind likes to kick in, and our mind is used to it to accept things and value things that knows already, that experienced before, and especially when the things are outside of us. So if you choose to dive deeper with me in learning telepathic communication with your animals, then we will do practices and communication where you will be able to receive feedback from the guardians, because this is so important during the early stage of telepathic communication, because the mind really likes to kick in and brings lots of doubts, bring lots of just deny it that it's actually happening. So when you together with a group of people who practicing and supporting each other and inspiring each other, it really supports you and your muscle to grow much faster. And animals have a very amazing wisdom for us as well. They can see within us so much more than we are aware about each other. I remember having once telepathic communication with two dogs, and it was very beautiful, inspiring story for me, because in the telepathic communication, the both dogs told me that the woman, she's considering to leave, and but the both dogs, they were very, very uh, on the same page with that. The both were saying, but they really love each other. They just don't express their feelings. And when I shared that with the clients, they were really surprised about the accuracy and the details that the dogs shared with me for them. But also, it actually brought awareness for the men in the relationship to really notice that, they're really close to split. And so really thanks to these dogs, two beautiful dogs, the couple start to really talk about their feelings. And that was something that I was amazed by this. And it was something that I was thinking like, wow, like they were so close to break up, and not only because of these dogs and their wisdom, what they were able to see within them. And it was just really incredible how detailed information, because the dog shared with me the story when basically he was moving to another city, and in the moment when he was leaving, and literally exactly what both felt deep within themselves, but none of them expressed towards each other. And that's why they were so amazed by the details they received, and they actually were able to face their own feelings. So that's the power of animals in our environment, the power of animals at home. Because your beautiful animals can support you to really understand yourself more. Now Irena, she's gonna be doing level 2, telepathic communication, our guides. And yeah, so we're gonna dive really deep how we can collaborate with animals on that level, where they can be our guides, where they can show us and teach us how we can open up to our true self and really understand self, coming back to self on a much, much deeper level. But to do that, it's important that first we acknowledge animals as our soul brothers and sisters. Yes, they are living in a, they have different body. The shape of their body is different, uh, but but that doesn't mean that they're less than us. We are equal. And Irana said it's a little bit scary. Yes, I think exciting, exciting to evolve within this new relationship with animals. And yeah, I mean, I think we all on this journey because we desire to come back more to self and create a meaningful career where we feel fulfilled and at ease and joy and inspired to just co-create with others. So any questions? I just checked, is there anything I wanted to share? So just to summarize, what creates the basic structure for good communication? It's one and foremost, it's open heart and seeing animals as our brothers and sisters who's got really an amazing value to offer to us, and they have a knowledge and wisdom. And there's one thing I wanted to share, that often in telepathic communication, case studies with the guardians and the animal, the clients, um, very often animals tell me what the guardian needs. They give me, I don't know anything about their guardians. The animals tell me, sometimes they give me even practices. Um, and I have one more story. Once in a telepathic communication, there was a woman came to me, and her dog had health issues. And just to make it long story short, summarizing, basically, the dog shared that he, because animals can sometimes take some health issues from their guardians, and this is probably I can go deeper on that probably in a different webinar. But just to make it short, the dog shared with me that he just wants her guardian to rest more. She is also telepathic communicator, and she loves helping animals. And I know myself that people with big hearts and giving souls, they sometimes they just give and forget about themselves. And this beautiful dog shared with me that he just wants her to rest more, because when she rests more, then she will be able to offer more. And I remember the dog also specifically said that she likes rock music. And he said that the rock music is not supporting her to relax, because her mind keeps busy and it's more wired. And that actually for her he recommended reading a fantasy books, because she apparently loved it, and that really he can see that her mind is calming. And when I shared with that, when I told her that, she was really surprised, but it was so resonating with her. It made perfect sense, but it helped her realize that, yes, I can do this different way that will be more supportive for me. So that's the power of telepathic communication with our family, with our animals, to really know us and know about us much more than we personally open to receive. So coming back, the basic structure is open heart and seeing our animals as really divine beings that have lots of wisdom and knowledge and can support us on this path. The second part is being in a present moment. This is really important because when we wander around, when we're emotionally not stable, when there's lots of emotions within us, then actually the telepathic communication, it's like you want to telepathically communicate with the animal, but there is like between you and your beloved dog or cat, there's like a cloud of your emotions. So it's just much harder to communicate this way. And in the online course, we going to in the module one, there will be practices that will be supporting you to balance your emotions, to calm your mind, and to come back more to the present moment, because this is the key. This is the key. And being grounded, another thing, coming back to the earth, not being in the air, in the head, but really being here in this body, in connection to Mother Earth. And I will do with you a little short guided visualization. So if you have your animals at home, there's one thing, your dog or cat does not have to necessarily be next to you. It's beneficial that you will be really in a positive energy and feeling grounded, feeling in the present moment. I will guide you for that a little bit. And then you will visualize connection from your heart to the heart of your animal. And with that connection, you will ask the question if your animal actually wants to communicate with you, if it's happy to communicate. And if you hear yes or receive like a really light energy, easy to connect, then that means yes. And then I'll give you a couple of minutes to just be in that presence and see what comes. And again, in the course, I will be happy if you, any of you will be joining me on a deeper connection with animals. I will share some screen in a moment, but for now, it's important that you're in a relaxed place, that no one can disturb you. And I just see Ramon. Being a vegetarian helps a lot to understand animals much better. Yes, it does. It makes difference for us as well, right? Because yeah, it's yeah, I think it's the compassionate soul, right, Ramon? That's what you mean exactly. And the power of now. Yes, the power of now. That's why I just love the telepathic communication with animals, because it's such an inspiration for me to maintain that presence, to come back to self and really work on my state, emotional state, and really truly that's what it is. And if something goes off, you have to really maintain that to really be in that state and communicate with animals again. And it might happen, but that's what it is. Then it's important to really be in that, just acknowledge that, okay, in this moment, it's not the right time, but then come back again. Okay, so before we start guided visualization, if you have any questions, you can ask now. Otherwise, we slowly go to the visualization. Okay, so you can close your eyes. Just feel your feet in connection with Mother Earth. Notice your body, the state of your body, the state of your emotions. And just be. be without judgment, just acknowledging. Acknowledging any emotions, allowing the thoughts to just pass by. And now just visualize from your heart beautiful breach, pink breach. And within that breach, you put the question, curiosity, if your animal is willing to communicate telepathically with you right now. And just see this breach from your heart going into connection with your animal. And if you feel that the connection from your heart to the heart of the animal, it's accepted, feel the gratitude. And just be in the present moment without expectations. Whatever comes. There might be some images, some feelings. Beautiful. And just acknowledge. Acknowledge your animal with gratitude. And if the mind kicks in saying, no, this is just me, just allow it to be without judgment. Knowing that the telepathic communication that is happening right now, it's real. Now just give great gratitude. One more time, just send lots of love for this new adventure. And just see that the bridge of love is coming back to your heart. And you're coming back to yourself. And let me know in the comments if you received, what you received. And I will share with you a screen I will share with you a screen of the online course that starts on 24th of April if you're interested. And this course is really for everyone who would love to develop this beautiful muscle that we all have of telepathic communication with animals. Doing so, you will now also be able to communicate with plants, actually, because the structure is pretty much the same. For everyone who is new to this style of communication or heard about the communication before, for people who work with animals already but would love to develop that communication so they can understand animals more. And the module 1, it's really all about opening to our senses, because it's very important that we practice the feeling, because feeling is a base of really being able to interpret the informations that we receive from animals. There is lots of grounding practices and meditation, silencing the mind, balancing emotions practice. And you will learn in module 2 as well your communication style. You will understand how to send telepathic communication to your animals in the way that they will be able to understand exactly what you want to say to them. In module 3, you will be learning how to receive informations and what's your unique style of telepathic communication. You will understand more about the symbolism that animals send, because they send images, and there are different type of images that you might receive, and you'll be learning to open to that style of communication even more and understand really how to interpret the information from animals. What do they really want to send you? And module 4 is the last one, is the one that we really summarize everything and put into practice. Throughout module 2 and 3, there will be already practices with animals, but module 4 is really designed to help you to integrate that all wisdom and knowledge and the practices that you have learned. Obviously, as I mentioned throughout this process, there will be communication with animals where you will be able to receive a feedback from guardians, because this is like super important. The course starts on 24th of April, and at the moment there is this early bird price, which is €399 if you purchase before 1st of March, and then after price going down. So this is information for those who are interested to join. And let me see if there are any questions. Justina said, some animals eat animals too. Yes, and this is like it's actually really interesting and fascinating topic for me as well, because we are living in duality, and animals experiencing the same duality as us, right? There's the good and the bad, the white and the light. And I'm planning in the near future to receive more wisdom from animals about that, because I really feel deeply that there is enormous wisdom for us in terms of evolving, our soul evolving to a next stage of evolution. So yeah, this is it's a beautiful energy here in the chat. I love it. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, you can also write me in private. For those of you who are watching reply, feel free to check my website www.sacredlife.site, or send me email or private message if you're interested to join the online course. And I am super happy to have you here, guys. I hope you received some information. from your animals? No one shared anything. Let me know if you received anything. If practice with sleeping animal possible? Yes and no. It depends. That's why I always say, because I get that question often, that it's if you when you send the information, you ask if it's okay to receive, if it's okay to communicate with you, and really this is what we need. If he says yes, in fact accepts, then that means that perhaps it's not as asleep as we think it is, or it's still able to communicate. If we receive no, then it means it's really busy into sleeping and doing other stuff while it sleeps, and then it's a no. So there's no one answer to that. It really depends of the answer from the animal. Thank you, Ramon. Thank you, Justina. Thank you, Irena. Sending you all lots of love, and I see you again, I hope. I just